Tokyo Mirage Session is getting ported to the Nintendo Switch. An old PlayStation RPG is receiving a sequel in 2020. And will Shin Megami Tensei 5 show up at Tokyo Game Show? This and more in today's segment of Gaming News with Spoons. Be sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell notification so you guys can stay up to date with all things Japanese gaming related. Let's get into today's video. Tokyo Mirage Session was a bit of a surprise for many people during the Nintendo Direct. And I think personally for me to see that was pretty exciting news. Tokyo Mirage Session was a game that I actually just kind of passed on because I lacked a Wii U at the time because I sold it for financial reasons and never picked one up to actually go through and play Tokyo Mirage Session. So to hear that this is getting a Nintendo Switch port I thought was pretty exciting. Now for those of you who don't know what Tokyo Mirage Session is, it was a collaboration effort between Atlus and Fire Emblem. It more particularly falls in line with a lot of Fire Emblem more than it does Shin Megami Tensei, but it does use some of the certain spell types that you would see in a Shin Megami Tensei game and kind of does play similarly to some of those games. The fact that this is getting a re-release on the Nintendo Switch has me excited because I think a lot of people who maybe missed out on playing it are going to be able to get a chance, and hopefully it's kind of something that gains traction and becomes more popular as time goes on. There have been some things floating around regarding whether or not this is actually going to be censored, and it was thanks to a user on Twitter, and I'll link it down below so you guys can see the link to the tweet, that it was brought to my attention that this very well is not going to be censored. I know that the Wii U version was censored and had some things removed, but it kind of seems like we're getting an edition that has all the all the features in there. This is coming straight from the website for the game itself, and again, I'll leave a link down below in the description box that you guys can check that out. Either way, I'm excited to get this. I'm going to try to pick this up as soon as possible next year and play it on the channel, so be sure to look forward to that. Dragon Quest 1 through 3 is getting a re-release in Japan. Though it has not been confirmed to officially be localized over here in the United States or Europe, we can get a physical copy of the game that does have English options available for us to play. So if you want to play Dragon Quest 1 through 3 and experience those games for the first time, or maybe just revisit those classics, this might be a game that's up your alley. Xenoblade Chronicles got a definitive edition announced during the Nintendo Direct, and this is something I want to talk about. Because there were people who were upset that it wasn't Xenoblade Chronicles X that got a port, and I do feel like that is on its way. I thought it was pretty significant for Nintendo to re-release Xenoblade Chronicles. This was a game that was really ahead of its time and really pushed the Wii U to its limits. Because of that, I don't feel like the game had its full potential, especially where you had the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 at the time that were capable of handling HD graphics. I don't think the game really got a chance to show off what it was capable of. So this Nintendo Switch port, or what appears to me to be a remake, kind of like the Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot, where it looks like they've taken the original assets and really ran it through another engine and just kind of remade the game. Regardless to say, this game looks absolutely beautiful. Xenoblade Chronicles is a game I have still yet to get around to playing, and with a definitive edition coming to the Nintendo Switch, that might just be the time to get into it. Do you guys remember an old Japanese RPG called Brigadine? Well, it seems that this is going to be receiving a sequel in 2020. As many years as it has been since that game has released, who would have thought that we would actually be getting a sequel? Now, this game is called Brigadine: The Legend of Runetercia. Probably butchering the hell out of that name, but hey, at least we're trying. It was a tactical RPG that I don't really remember hearing too much about or even really got the chance to play it myself. I do believe that you can purchase number 1 on the PlayStation Store for your PSP, PS Vita, and your PlayStation 3 if you guys are at all interested. But to see a game that is this old get a sequel has me hopeful to see so many other games maybe that have been scarce for years finally get a chance to shine. Regardless, this is something that I am going to keep my eye on and see more information as it comes out, but I thought it was pretty interesting to see a PlayStation 1 game getting a sequel in 2019. A new demo shows off some information regarding Sakura Wars, the next entry in Sega's long-running Sakura Taisen or Sakura Wars franchise. From just being able to interact with the girls, to having some punishment, how the lip system's going to work, and how some of the gameplay is going to play out. It was a very interesting read. I'll link that down below in the bottom so you guys can see that. It sounds like we are going to be seeing more of this at Tokyo Game Show, along with what this demo is going to entail, so we'll update this news as more information comes out. Gust is apparently working on a fairy tale RPG. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with who Gust is, they are most famously known for the Atelier games. Atelier Ryza, Atelier Torna, Atelier Iris, as well as the Artonelico games. Personally, I never really got too much into the Atelier games after Atelier Iris 3. That was kind of where I stopped caring, but I really did enjoy the Artonelico games. Artonelico was actually one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games back in the day. So I'm curious to see what Gust is going to do, because they do have a solid record for making some decent games. They've also made games such as Knights of Azure, so if you're a Fairy Tail fan or a Gust fan, this might be a game to keep your eyes on. And our last news segment here we're going to cover on the channel today is, are we going to see Shin Megami Tensei at Tokyo Game Show? Atlus announced at the end of last year that we would be getting more information on Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Fantasy Project Re, both of which we have not heard a single thing on about this year, and we're in September. There's not a whole lot of other places to be able to talk about these games. We do still have the PlayStation Experience, where Tokyo Project or Fantasy Project Re could show up, but with the Nintendo Direct completely gone, and getting close to next year, the only place that I could really see Shin Megami Tensei 5 getting any mention is at Tokyo Game Show. There's a lot of speculation what's going on with this game right now, from Atlus struggling to get it out, it in development hell, it just being cancelled. Atlus kind of has a track record for announcing games far too early. I mean, Tokyo Mirage Sessions was known as Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei, and that took forever to get anything to actually come out of that before they showed off anything viable footage-wise or being able to actually play that game. We also had Persona 5, which was revealed in 2013 and slated for a 2014 winter release, but that never actually came to be. It wouldn't be until 2016 that game was actually released in Japan. So Atlus does kind of have a track record for release or announcing games very early before they are ready. Maybe Shin Megami Tensei 5 isn't ready for Atlus to show off. Maybe they don't feel comfortable showing it off. At this point, I'd just like to see maybe something like a character artwork, or kind of some settings, some pictures from the settings at this point, just to kind of fill that urge that I have to see something from the game. Even if it's just something small to let fans know, yes, it's still in development, we're still working on it, this is what you can expect, I think would ease a lot of fans if Atlus would just come out and show us something. But the odds of it showing up at Tokyo Game Show, I'd say they're likely if Atlus is still going to pursue that promise that they made last year that we would get more information on Shin Megami Tensei 5. But at this point, it's hard to say. It doesn't appear in Sega's lineup for the Tokyo Game Show, but that doesn't mean that Nintendo couldn't throw in some sort of surprise, or maybe that Sega is not announcing that because they want that to be a surprise. Either way, I'm really curious to see what happens with Shin Megami Tensei 5, and if that news breaks, we'll be here to cover it. You guys have been watching Gaming News with Spoons. As said, go ahead and hit subscribe there if you have not done already to stay up to date with all things Japanese gaming related. You guys have been watching Gaming News with Spoons. You follow me on Facebook and Twitter, links down below in the description box. You also follow me over on Twitch to check out the games that we are playing on the channel. And most importantly, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out.